Namaste, guys. ChristianRLong, life enhancement consultant, giving you a big and beautiful shout out on this Sunday evening. As you can probably see with the sign behind me, it says King Soopers, which is a local grocery store chain here in Colorado. I just had to pick up some quick things from the grocery store. As you also might know, this body has been sick for going on 6, almost 7 days now. Marvin, Namaste, Minnie, Namaste. And I committed to you guys, and I committed to myself that no matter what, for the entire year of 2019, I will be doing a live stream, even if it's in silence, even if it's a minute, even if it's 3 hours, and pretty much the entire day today, my voice has not been operating as I would like it to function. But I wanted to jump on real quick and share with you a shocking story that hopefully you can get some benefit from, get some insight from, and apply into your own life to transform yourself and transform your relationships. So as people who are spiritual, as people who are seen as loving and kind, as people that are compassionate and concerned for the welfare and well-being of other people, there are certain circumstances when a person needs to be out of our life physically. So my teacher, Grandmaster Chokoku Sui, says there are certain people that need to be, and I'm paraphrasing, that need to be physically out of your life. You can bless them at a distance, you can heal them at a distance, but it's best for them not to be in your physical, day-to-day, week-to-week operations. For whatever reason, they can cause pain, emotional pain, psychological pain, physical pain. So I remember thinking about that quote many years ago when somebody very close to me had somebody in their life who is extremely physically abusive. And when I say physically abusive, I don't just mean this person would occasionally grab this person and be a little bit rough or a little bit too aggressive physically, or, maybe smack her on the butt or hit her on the head or something like that. When I mean physically abusive, I mean the first 4 or 5 teeth of this person were gone. And I inquired about it, and I said, what happened to these teeth? Zach, Namaste, I said, what happened to these teeth? Come to find out, this particular person that she was seeing took her head and smashed it so hard on a coffee table, it knocked out the first 4 front teeth or 4 upper teeth in her mouth. That's the kind of physical abuse and physical trauma that I'm referring to. And I ended up talking with one of the master pranic healers about this situation as what can we do as people of goodwill, as people of tolerance, as people of patience and forgiveness, Lori, Namaste, do in this particular situation. Because they were both seeing each other as a couple. They were both involved with one another intimately, romantically. But that kind of physical abuse can only lead in one direction: the death of the other person. Hey, Lori. Right? Yo, yo, yo. So, the teacher thought about it, the master I was talking to, and there's a technique to permanently separate one person from another person, to completely detach the connection. Because the reason people are in your life is because there's lessons to learn, there's karma to pay off, and there's a cord connecting you to the other person or you to the other persons. And I said, we have to use this technique. And he thought about it, Malvika, Namaste, and he thought about it, and he didn't think it was the best thing at the moment. He said, let me think about it. We'll do healing, and we'll see what happens. And I said, no, you don't understand. this is a very urgent matter that needs to be resolved now. Not in a week or a month, but now. And you could see my desperation on my face. Allah, namaste. So, the next day, this master talked to me and said, it's taken care of, everything's fine. And I was like, interesting. So, I followed up with this person, and everything seemed to be normalized, because they were on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again in their relationship. Well, it's now been about 4 years, and this person, since that time, Lisa, namaste, since that time, has never materialized or shown up in that person's life again. From one of the most severe physically and emotionally abusive relationships I have ever seen, definitely in my own life, to this person disappearing off the face of the planet to the other person. No goodbye, no letters, nothing. Now, do I know for a fact that teacher or that master did that technique? I don't. But when this teacher says it's taken care of, I have full faith in this teacher's counsel and advice. Cindy, namaste. So, what is the point of today's story? Other than me trying to get this out with a very congested throat and recovering from a very severe cold. That there are people in our lives, they may have been in our lives for the past 20 years, they may have been in our lives the past week. And these people have maybe a proclivity to creating drama, chaos, stress in your life. And I realize the more I progress on my spiritual path and the more I reflect on my relationships, Jama, namaste, I realize it's no longer appropriate to have people of that quality in my life. Do I love these people? Yes. Do I wish the best for these people? Yes. Do I realize I'm not perfect? Yes. And that we all make mistakes? Yes. But because I'm a being of divine light, divine love, and divine power, I have the freedom to choose who I have in my life on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, month-to-month basis, right? Heather, namaste. So just because somebody has been in your life for a set period of time does not entitle them to be in your life to create chaos, drama, and what have you. And part of why I'm sharing this with you guys tonight is because there is somebody very close in my life that has done good things, has been a blessing in many ways in my life for the past several years. But this person has also, Amy, namaste, this person has also created a tremendous amount of drama, chaos, misunderstandings, miscommunications, the inability to listen, the inability to resolve something like an adult. And I realize that doesn't work for me. So I have to make the big boy decision. I have to make the adult decision to remove that person from my life. And I've had to do that several times over the past couple years. It's gotten more and more and more pronounced than ever before. And so I'm reflecting on that. And Zach says, loyalty is not friendship. I love that. Loyalty is not friendship. It's beautiful. I've had to reflect on that, Teresa, namaste, in my own life of saying, well, by cutting this person out of my life, am I being cruel? Am I being severe? Am I being mean? Am I being prideful? Am I being selfish? Am I not being the kind, loving healer that I've been trained to be? Amanda, I'm a namaste. As well as the very purpose as to why I'm here on this planet. But I'm always going back to that quote by my teacher, Grandmaster Choa Koksui, in regards to there are some people or certain people in our lives that we have to keep at a distance, a physical distance. Yes, you can continue to heal them. Yes, you can continue to bless them. Yes, you can continue to provide them with resources, books, websites, seminars to attend that will help move them along their path. But to have interaction with them may not be the best thing. Colette, Abba Namaste. So that's why I wanted to jump on and share that with you tonight, guys, because we're all in this together. We're all growing together. We're all evolving together. We all make mistakes together. We all have victories and failures with each other. So when I jump on and share these things, I'm not talking at you. I'm talking with you. I'm sharing what I'm learning as I'm learning it in some cases that can hopefully inspire you, encourage you, bring you insight that you didn't have before. Leslie, Abba Namaste. Good to have you on. And then Zach says, Patty, Abba Namaste. Good to have you back on. Super hard to separate that with people you care about. I agree. Zach is saying it's hard to separate yourself from people that you care about. That's heart chakra. Heart chakra. Giving to others unconditionally. Giving to others because it's the right thing to do. But the chakra right below the heart is the solar plexus that deals with self-interest. It deals with boundaries. It deals with righteous indignation. It deals with justice. So when you have people in your life who aren't respecting certain things about you, Autumn, Namaste, you have to make the strong boundary. One second. You have to make the strong boundary and say that does not work for me. I love you as a person. I love you as a friend, but that does not work for me. And here's the thing. It's not about forcing the other person to change. It's not about them. It's not about you controlling them and making them show up a certain way. You can love somebody and still have boundaries. Right? So I'm saying this is what I need, want, and desire in our friendship with each other. This is what's acceptable for me. This is what's not acceptable for me. And if those boundaries are not respected, these are the consequences of that. That's it. And you, as a person of self-interest, as a person of integrity, as a person of doing the right thing, you have to say, when that boundary is broken, you have to enforce it. You have to enforce the consequences of breaking that boundary. And that is very, very difficult for most people. Think of it with parents and their children. The parent says, if you do this, the penalty is that. If you do this, the penalty is this. If the parents don't enforce the boundary, the child would just keep doing the same thing over and over again. You will have chaos. You will not have order. Too much mercy leads to chaos. Too much severity leads to rebellion. So, how can you enforce boundaries in your relationships with those closest to you? Friends, family members, your intimate partner. How can you enforce boundaries if you don't know what your boundaries are? So what does that go back to? Self-awareness. Asking yourself, what does work for me? I'll give you an example. Sleep is super, super, super important to me. Has been, because for 20 years, my body didn't sleep very much. For many reasons, mostly sugar. My body didn't sleep very much, so even after 10 hours of sleep, exhausted, right? After 10 hours of sleep, still wake up being exhausted. So any partner that is in my life, short-term or long-term, that is a boundary that has to be respected. If that boundary is not respected, even for a little bit, that intimate relationship is over. Very quickly. Most people are not like that because most people don't have the awareness of why it's important to have a boundary, what the strengthening of that boundary does for them in their lives. Does that make sense? So unconditional love or blind love. I'll get back to that in a second. Malvika says, like some relationships with your own siblings are bad, you can't leave them but bless them. Yeah, if you have a verbally, emotionally, physically abusive relationship, even with a family member, that's a boundary. That does not work. Period. That is not acceptable. Period. Autumn says, I just went through this exactly about an hour ago with my grandpa. It didn't go so well. Did he kick you out of your life? Or did you kick him out of your life? Did I say that right? Zach says unconditional love or blind love. Unconditional love I might not be able to make it through the rest of this. Unconditional love is primarily in the crown chakra. A portion of it is in the heart. But even the great teachers have boundaries. I'll say it again. Even the great teachers have boundaries. Observe, be aware. Could you knock on the Dalai Lama's door at any time of day or night to have access to him for a 2-hour-long interview? Yes or no? No. Those interviews have to be scheduled months, if not years, in advance. So there is no perpetually open door for the great, great teachers. If Mother Teresa was tending to a sick and dying child, which is of importance for her purpose and her mission, and you needed something from her, would she drop what she's doing? Or would she have a clear boundary that this is a priority, your situation can wait? No. This is what's... And Zach is bringing up an excellent topic that I'll actually cover in detail in another stream. He says boundaries are limits. No. Right. Unconditional does not mean boundaryless. Unconditional does not mean boundaryless. You can unconditionally love someone and still have boundaries with them. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but again, this deals with awareness, it deals with understanding, and it deals with application. Autumn says, Grandma and I had to kick her out of my new apartment basically, and I just moved out of her house. I felt very guilty about it for a bit, trying to release it. Interesting. Very interesting. So that's a whole other conversation about, that's a different chain of thinking when it comes to our obligations to our parents and to our grandparents. That's a different conversation. Yes, there's still boundaries. It has to be dealt with differently. Errol, Atma Namaste. I hope you're enjoying the stream. But I want to thank each and every one of you for being on tonight's stream. And you bring up excellent conversation pieces for future streams. Again, we talk about energy healing, meditation, and practical spirituality, which are gigantic subjects in breadth and in depth. And unfortunately, I don't have the time or the throat chakra to engage in all of those tonight. If you enjoyed the stream, please share it. If you are looking for healing, I know it doesn't look like I'm appropriate to heal you now, which I'm not. But if you're looking for healing, coaching and healing, you can go to my website, ChristianRLong.com/services. Schedule something with me a week out. Definitely can help transform your life. And I love this work. I'm honored to do this work. This work of spreading my teacher's teachings is part of my dharma. It's part of my purpose. It's just in me. And Zach says, I want to know that we all appreciate you coming on. As sick as you are, come rest, brudda. It almost looks like Buddha. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate that. I'm empowered by them. If I'm not empowered, it's my lack of receptivity to them. And that's it, guys. Have a beautiful Sunday night, a beautiful week, and a beautiful life. This is ChristianRLong, Life Enhancement Consultant. Atma, namaste. Watch the beginning of this. You guys will enjoy the story who came in late. Watch the beginning. Honey and crushed ginger. I ran out of honey. Sorry for bringing all of that. Oh, you're fine. It's all good. You're welcome, Amy. Love you guys. Good night.